because I remember, oh yeah, this is a good lead way into one year, my first year at in college at University of Houston. I thought I had pulled a muscle right in my back, and I just let it go. I noticed it was hurting, and I was like, oh, I must have did something wrong in dance class. And I kept going on about my business. Well, one morning I woke up and I couldn't even sit up. I was in pain like this. I was just slouched over, and I was like, Mama, I hurt. And she was rushing to get to work. Get up, get ready. The usual morning chaos. And I started crying, and I couldn't sit up, and I was hurting. And she was getting mad because I was messing up the schedule and slowing everything down. And finally, she realized how serious I was about it. And so she took me to the hospital, and they rushed me in and was checking my vitals and everything. And people was going in and out, and it was like a panic mode, right? And I'm sitting there like, okay. They started giving me shots in my back, and I was counting them, right? I had 15 shots in my back while sitting on that bed. And doctors come in, and he says, oh, it's a good thing you came in today, because you probably wouldn't have woken up in the morning. Excuse me? You have walk-in pneumonia. My whole right side of my body was collapsing, and you couldn't even see my ribs. It was so filled with mucus. They had to put a chest tube in my ribs, through my ribs. Let me tell y'all something. I don't care what religion you believe in. When they trying to force a chest tube, the fool started with us talking about he needed a quarter size, right? You know how big a quarter is. So he was trying to force that size in me because that's how severe they needed to drain my lungs, right? Baby, I called on Jesus in 12 languages. People in that hospital, they was walking by like, what are they doing to that child? You can't numb the inside of your ribs, right? So they're just pushing through flesh with this tube. So then he had to take it out and put his finger in there and hold it open, and they had to go get a nickel. They had to get a nickel size. So then he pushed it all the way through. Oh my God, I can't. Nothing hurts worse than a chest tube going through your body that they cannot numb. Okay? So they get it in, and then he says, okay, we need you to lay on it. Lay on it? But ain't no way, sir, doctor, no. Baby, they had to prop pillows up behind me to get my body to lean so that it could start draining. I was in that hospital 2.5 weeks. I lost 35 pounds. I went from 134 to 99 pounds. I could not fit any of my clothes when I walked out that hospital. My pants was falling off of me. And the only good thing I was thankful for was that our daddy, who wasn't there in our life, still had insurance on me because I was in college. And that saved me. And so even when I went home, I still had to stay home for a while. I don't remember how long, but all I know, I was in that hospital 2.5 weeks. I almost died. That is what the doctor told me. And in that time, laying in that bed, I remember just crying. I was so depressed. I hated Houston. And I was making plans to get out of Texas. I was making plans. And in my head, all I knew is that I wanted to go to either New York or Los Angeles. And I decided on Los Angeles because I don't like cold weather. And I said, what's the point in leaving Texas just to go to New York? And so I decided on LA. I dropped out of college and I entered cosmetology school because my mom was a hairstylist and I have been doing hair since I was 11 years old, 10, 11 years old. And I've always been in the beauty salon helping her, learning, and all of her beautician friends would teach me, so I knew how to do hair. And so I decided to go to school to get my license so that when I moved to Los Angeles, I would always have a job. And so when I came here, I transferred my hours. They said I still needed to do an extra 600 hours for Los Angeles. So I went and got the 600 hours. And then my aunt, who I was staying with, kicked me out and sent me back to Texas right before it was time for me to take state board, right? And so luckily I had made a few friends. I borrowed the money from my brother to come back to take state board, and one of my friends let me live with him to take the test. And then that's when I saw the pastor of the church who helped me stay in LA after that. And I went to Wilford Beauty Academy on Hollywood and Vine. That's how I got to LA. That's how I got to LA. From getting walking pneumonia, I had made up in my mind I was getting out of that city. And I set a plan and I put it in motion. And it didn't go smoothly, but it worked. It worked. And I'm still here today. I left for 5 years at one point because I went back home and it didn't work for a year. I was back to square one. I was like, why did I even leave LA? That was the biggest mistake. My biggest mistake was leaving LA, thinking I could come back home and get a job, save up money. That was the biggest mistake ever. That was in '01. And so I was doing 3 jobs still back in Houston because I had to move out. I was not happy. It was not an easy transition. I ended up having to get another apartment in Houston by myself all over again. And so after that, I was like, this ain't working. And one of my friends from LA called me. He had moved to Vegas. And he was like, you know, you don't want to be down there. I said, no. He said, well, I moved to Vegas. I was like, Vegas? Nobody moves to Vegas. And he said, my brother was supposed to come, and I got a 2-bedroom, and he's not here. It's yours if you want it. Because previously, when we were in LA, we were such good friends. When he didn't have a place to stay, he stayed on my couch. You know, I drove his car when I needed to go to do temp assignments or go to work. And we were like sister and brother. And so I hung up the phone. I was like, I don't think that's a good idea. I ain't even let that phone stay on the hook 10 seconds. I called him back. I'm like, I'm on my way. Baby, I put all my furniture, everything out on the sidewalk and sold everything for like $350. I went and bought me a Greyhound bus ticket and took my butt to Las Vegas, and nobody knew. They was mad at me all over again. That girl crazy. People love to call you crazy. Oh, that girl crazy. She can't. Yeah, I might be crazy, but so are you. And I went to Vegas for 2 years. So I was out there. I was able to get a job doing hair. The guy's brother came back, right? Or decided to move to Vegas. And he came and caused hell and havoc, you know, put me out the bedroom, wanted me to sleep in the living room. And then when I was sleeping in the living room, he wanted to get up and cook and do all this stuff in the middle of the night while I'm trying to sleep for work the next morning. So I had to move out of there, right? So I found me a little studio apartment. Yeah, it was studio because it was a full kitchen and a full bath. It was like this little motel that renovated and let you have a weekly pay, but it looked just like an apartment inside. Well, so do, you know, hotels do. It was brand new remodeled, and I lived there for over a year. And then I had gotten a job as a receptionist at a marketing company. I was still sitting there like, I need to get my degree. So I decided once again, come back to Houston, which was hard and miserable, but I had a goal. So I enrolled back in school, got my AA, and I left in '07 and came back to LA, to Cal State LA, to get my BA. And I've been here ever since 2007. So yeah, that went on a long tangent, but it all led to taking care of yourself, doing things for yourself, following your mind, being the person who you want to be and not who others want you to be, and finding your serenity and your peace and your calm, and let them call you crazy, because that's all they can come up with is the word crazy. Yeah, I'm crazy about peace. I'm crazy about my life. I'm crazy about me. That's all I have for you today on this Vlogmas Day 13. It's raining in Los Angeles, and I captured a little footage for y'all last night in the rain. Take a look. Please remember to hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, leave a like, and share this video with your friends. See you next time. Happy holidays!